Morning. So, it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week, and I just had a few thoughts. You know, it's okay for me when I'm feeling, good and on form and stuff, and it's kind of like, it's easy to forget. It's easy to forget that not too long ago, I struggled to get up every morning. And, I'd lie in bed just looking at the ceiling and I wouldn't be eating right, or I wouldn't take any exercise, or, I'd kind of like be in this endless cycle of low mood and anxiety and stress. And, this year's theme for Mental Health Awareness Week is reconnecting with nature. But then, what happens if you don't have the energy? Or you're kind of like locked inside your mind. It's quite easy for me to get out, and this morning I'm in Queen's Park in Blackburn. I honestly can't remember whether I've been here. If I did, it was when I was a little kid, but I've never been since. But I work quite close to here now, so hence taking a quick walk before work. And like when you kind of like locked into your own battle, or your struggle, or your challenge, or your your experiences, it can be quite hard to see anything but that. And I think that reconnecting with nature, it's great that if you can get out. It's great if you can attend one of the talk ourselves well social strolls. It's great if you've got the kind of like energy to fire you up in the morning and get out. But we've got to kind of like think, what if we don't have that energy? What I would say is, if you've got a garden or a yard, just go and sit outside. If you can sit outside. When I was experiencing my depression, I didn't even have that energy. Even taking stuff to bin were a chore. Now I've got a yard, and I've got containers and plants and trees and all kinds of stuff like that. But then, if you've got that, that's great. But if you haven't, what do you do then? There's different ways that you can reconnect with nature. So you could watch a wildlife programme. I've always found David Attenborough very knowledgeable, but also his tone's very soothing for me. If you can't even cope with that, it might be a case of, go and stand at the window and just have a look out and try and focus on one thing. So like that one thing might be a tree. I'm quite blessed at the moment because it's spring and everything's growing again. And sometimes you can get lost just looking at trees and being mesmerized on like the movement and the colour and the shade, and how all these things interchange. And if that's all you can do, that's okay. That's all right. It's like I say, it's all too easy to forget when you're feeling, quite balanced and things are going your way. It's quite easy to get, to kind of like lose track of where you were just a few weeks ago. You know what I mean? And it's what, 6 weeks now since our last experiencing my depression. 6-7 weeks to be fair. And then it's like, I've had a bit of a stressful morning this morning. Teenagers. So, That's why I've just come for a little quick spin round the park before I go to work. Just centre myself a little bit, you know, and it's quite a lovely little park. This, it's quiet, you know, it's calm. I'm finding, you know, the bird song is having a soothing effect. You know, there's plenty of wildlife knocking about. The trees are like glistening and glinting. And I don't know if you can see here, there's some little chicks. So I'm not going to get too close because they tend to get a bit protective, you know, but that's like new life. And that's, you know, kind of like gives us a bit of hope, symbolises a bit of a future. You know, it might be that if you can get to the shop, you go to the shop and you get a few seeds and a little bit of soil, you know, and you kind of like make a little container up, a little planter or whatever. You know, it's whatever works for you. There's no one thing. You know, what works for some people doesn't work for others, and it's really important that we recognise that. You know, it's so individual and it's so personal, and that's how we've got to treat it. You know, we have to treat it as individual and as personal. All right, so I'm going to leave it there. Sort yourself well, find a balance. Peace.